through after that. If you wouldn't mind, particularly those of you from Arizona, identifying yourself when you ask a question so Tom knows who he is speaking with, we would appreciate that. And at this point, if Tom's ready, I'm going to let him open this up with a statement.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the University of Wyoming Athletics Department and Cowboy football team, we would like to thank everyone, Kim, everyone at the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. We are excited and thrilled to be able to continue our season and get one more chance to compete, which is why we love the business we're in, and the players love the opportunity to compete and grow and get better. And exciting thing for this team is we have a bad taste in our mouth, and we are looking forward to finishing the season on a high note and playing significantly better than we did at the end of the year. So we're excited about the opportunity. Thank you. And to the Wyoming Cowboy football faithful around the region and the country, we hope to see you in Tucson. We'd love for you to come and join us, have a great time after Christmas in a great community with great weather. And remember to buy your tickets through us. A little self-plug there. Thank you. Tim, I can't hear you.
Eric, I'll let you make a statement for the bowl.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tom. It's been a pleasure working with the Wyoming staff throughout this process. As you all know, it's quite challenging, and we had a number of scenarios on the table, but Wyoming kept rising to the top, not only from their play on the field this year, but from the experience we had with them and the Wyoming faithful in 2019. We thought, man, what a great fit to bring them back to Tucson. I handle all of our social media platforms here at the Arizona Bowl, and I will say this, so please get this out in the media. We will have enough beer in Tucson this year. That's the message I get continually over the last couple of days. We are ready. We had such a great time with Wyoming. Coach Bull and his staff have a tremendous young team. We think there's a good team across the football from them in Ohio. Good matchup. Tom sold it all for me just a few minutes ago. Great weather here in the old Pueblo. 60s to us is freezing, so you see us Arizonas in coats, but the rest of you will be in shorts and t-shirts, enjoying the Tucson summer, if you will. But thrilled to have Wyoming back, not only from a fan perspective, but we feel like it's going to be a great football matchup on December the 30th.
Okay, if you could just raise your hand for questions. Cody?
Tom, I'm wondering, obviously you guys are thrilled to be in a bowl game. I'm wondering, does the fact that it's only streaming and not on TV, how does that sit with you?
It's 2022, almost 2023. And I guess in full transparency, if we could be over the air, we probably prefer to have over the air and streaming, but we're doing this meeting right now via streaming. And our fans, some of them still are adapting to that world, but they're coming along. And so we're excited. Barstool has a reach that we don't probably get our brand out on as often as we should. It's a very young market, and it's an opportunity for us to grow our brand in a different space.
Ryan?
Tom, now that you've had a week or so to think about it, just how did the 2022 regular season sit with you? How did you feel like the team performed?
Well, in full transparency, going into the season, I had no idea, as you all, I think, did the research, or maybe Tim did. We were the third least experienced team in the country. And as you know, at times against Illinois, we looked like it, but we got better and better and better. And then at the end there, we weren't happy with how we played. We had a chance to beat Boise, which is a great accomplishment. I mean, we're getting to a point now where we can compete with Boise. We got to ring the bell. We got to start winning those games, but we were there, and and then we went to Fresno. And I think obviously Fresno is clearly head and shoulders above everybody in the Mountain West this year right now. I mean, once they got Jake Hayner back at quarterback, they were different, but we didn't compete like Wyoming Cowboys compete. And we got to get that taste out of our mouth and get ready to go for 2023.
Alex?
Yeah, Thomas had a quick question. So seeing with a couple of players that put their name in the transfer portal already, what kind of challenge does that present for a bowl game? Just kind of having to adapt to who's going to be out there.
Well, everybody, I'm in meetings right now in Las Vegas for the National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame. And I don't know if I just lost everybody. I hope not, but my screen went blank. But bottom line is this: every school is facing this. I mean, the starting quarterback at Notre Dame just put his name in the portal 2 days ago. I mean, we are going to experience every year transition in our roster, both coming in and going out. What we've got to get really good at is making sure we have a core contingent of players that we build around and then use the portal to our benefit to fill in spots here and there. But it makes prepping different. But I guess in some ways, I like the idea of knowing if a kid is going to leave, let's do it now and see who can step up and play well in the bowl game. That helps us for next year. And it also helps in that if we know, we can start searching through the transfer portal right now to find out if we can find better or equal players.
Cody?
Tom, I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you since the Mountain West employed a new commissioner. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on her and what are maybe some of her pressing concerns and some of your concerns that you want to see her get on right away.
Well, technically, she doesn't start till January 1, and I have not even visited with her about the job in full transparency. We've tried to keep this separate so Craig finishes up. In fact, we're having a reception for Craig tonight at the National Football Foundation, and it'll be incredibly well attended. And but you know, with the new structure of college football, with 12 teams getting into the CFP and the top 6 advancing, top 6 conferences, we have to be that 6th. And football has to be a priority everywhere, not just to the league, but to every institution in this league, because we have a window of about 3 years to claim that we are the 6th best league, in my opinion. And if we miss it, it's going to be a lot harder to scratch back into that position. So I will fight like crazy to make sure that we position football at the top of the food chain constantly. And I think that's why she's here. She had a great league in the West Coast Conference. She's very well respected in our business. But she wants to be at a league that plays football.
Ryan?
Tom, just looking back at the last Arizona Bowl that you guys won, that got that team to 8-5. And I know they thought they had a lot of momentum and we all know what happened in 2020, but do you feel like this bowl game with the young team could, maybe be in a similar situation where next year they have a lot of momentum going into it if they get, a good result here?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, obviously we still got weeks to go through the transfer portal and, we're losing some players and everyone is, and we're going to see who we bring in and who we lose. But I like the makeup of this team. I like the culture that they have. I like that we got a quarterback coming back who I think is going to have a great year next year, and he's a great leader. We need to put some pieces in around him. Obviously, if Josh Cobb does end up leaving us, we got a spot there we got to fill. We got to get better at the receiver spot. That's just a reality because our passing game has to improve. And so we're excited about next year, but I guess in all fairness, Ryan, you probably have to ask me that in the summer.
Alex? Alex, did you have another question?
Oh yeah, just real quick. So with I don't know if you're allowed to answer this or not, but are you allowed to say what team rules Titus Swen violated last week or no?
I probably am allowed to, but I'm not going to.
Gotcha. Making sure.
Cody?
I have one for Eric. Eric, we talked a lot at Mountain West Media Days this year in Las Vegas, and you had a rough go of it last year in the Arizona Bowl with one of the teams backing out last second. How much easier was this one? And are you going to get Craig Bowl to do a video like you did with Jim McElwain?
Eric, I think you need to unmute.
A couple of things on that. There we go. I think everybody has me now. Sorry. For a streaming game, you'd think, oh, I should be able to get this. So I'll touch on the streaming thing first, as you have .com in your title there. Streaming is not new to the sports landscape. The NFL, who leads all giants in sports broadcasting, has Thursday nights. We will have the game widely available to everyone, and we'll have more on that later. But as for this year, yeah, I equated it to a national championship effort last year for our team. We got all the way to the final day and came up short. We put in a bunch of work and came up short, and man, it was a gut punch. But they're phenomenal teams all across the Mountain West. And as we looked across the landscape, we said, yeah, we're going to have good opportunities to bring that same team back, or one that is going to show well and have a great bowl game. Ryan mentioned it a moment ago, be able to use December 30th as a catapult into the next season. And one of the beauties of our game being on December 30th, you now have a lot of practice time. There's a lot of teams who are done practicing and players going to the Pro Bowl. You have another good 3 weeks of practice time here. So really excited. Cody, I will believe it when the ball leaves the tee on December 30th at 2:30 local time, because we've gotten so close there in the past. But, our medical teams are all still on standby and all still ready, and we'll do it. We're ready to go with whatever happens. And if I have to suit up and you have to suit up, we're going to do it.
Alex, did you have a question?
Yeah, Eric, I just had a quick question. So leading up, so obviously this whole bowl game is put on by Barstool Sports. So is there, I was wondering if you could if if there's like some special events that kind of take place leading up to the game and obviously going into the game. I think I saw Big Cat tweeting about he's going to have an eagle on his arm or something while he's singing the national anthem. So I was wondering if you could touch on any of that.
I will. It's one of the beauties of working with a company like Barstool, man. There's ideas that fly everywhere. Literally, with Big Cat talking about an eagle, that is something that we're efforting. Can't say it will happen for sure. He's going to sing the national anthem. Big Cat will be out there singing the national anthem, which he did at their basketball event in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there'll be some fun stuff. The night before, we're doing a big pub crawl that'll involve a lot of the downtown areas and university areas. And Tom touched on this earlier. It's going to kind of be two different demographics. So there's going to be one that's maybe an older demographic and bars that fit that. And then there's going to be one that's right around campus that'll fit some of that. We'll have Barstool personalities at each. And to go back and answer one of Cody's questions, yes, there will be Barstool folks visiting each campus here in the next few weeks to do some different stories. Maybe the Yellowstone angle there and there. I mean, everybody's watching that show. So to see how much that looks similar to what we actually see. But Barstool's fun, man. I mean, it's a different world. Our meetings are great fun. Last year we were talking about throwing people out of a plane and having them land. So there'll be some fun stuff, and you'll see some stuff in game that is just unique to the bowl landscape, but still keeping with the tradition of a college football bowl game.
Carissa, do you have a question?
I do, yes. It's for Tom. How do you guys plan on going forward with the dismissal of Titus Swen and practicing for the bowl game?
Well, we have multiple other backs on the roster. They're obviously less experienced, but Joey will step into the role right away. There'll be a couple other kids that'll get reps in practice, and we'll find 2 or 3 running backs to play, and they'll be good. I mean, we have unfortunately, we had 2 backups that were very good in DQ James and Dwyan, and they're out and they're injured and they're not going to play. So that's a challenge, but we got plenty of running backs, and we have a history here of being successful at that position. So we'll miss Titus, but that's the nature of college football. Got to adjust.
Any other questions for Tom or Eric?
I have a comment for Eric, because I just got a text from a fan. They're thrilled that you are adding more beer stations, but make sure you triple the number of porta potties in the pregame, is what they were asking.
Yes, I will. You can respond to that fan that when we announced Wyoming, we adjusted our ingress and egress plan, if you will.
Yeah, they're very happy about that. There is, as you know, there's a strong correlation between the amount of consumption and the amount of disposal.
Yes, we have both an in and out plan that will suit Wyoming well.
Well, if there aren't any other questions for Tom or Eric,
Yeah, I have a question for Tom. Tom, just the fact that you guys have been here before and done this in Tucson, how will that make it easier the second time around in terms of your logistics?
It's definitely easier. I mean, we know enough about what to do and how to do it and what to expect from the people at the Arizona Bowl. They've been great to work with. We knew this was a possibility, so we've been having dialogue for a while. You know, it's going to make it much more smoother because we've already done it. We will change a few things from the last experience, but not much. It was a great bowl experience, one of the best we've had, and we are excited to come back, and we love Tucson.
Michael, I see you just joined. If you have a question for Tom or for Eric Rhodes, if you can just identify yourself and ask your question.
Yes, hi, it's for Tom. This is Michael Lev with the Arizona Daily Star. You referenced the reality of college sports with the transfer portal, obviously NIL as a piece of that too. You also mentioned having to make adjustments. How has that shaped the approach of Wyoming, especially when it comes to football, and how you build your roster, or how you go about kind of just dealing with the turnover from year to year?
Well, I would say we're still adjusting. We're still trying to figure it out. I mean, if you look at the majority of the young men that have left us since the transfer portal became a reality, most of them are out of the region kids, not all of them, but most of them. And so we've just got to take a deep dive into the kids we recruit. Are they likely to stay? And if they're not likely, are they going to be ready to play immediately so they can help us quickly? Because it doesn't do us. I mean, at the end of the day, we want kids to be able to play and kind of move through it and be successful here and get a degree, but that doesn't always happen anymore. So we're just adjusting and trying to figure out how we improve our retention, but understanding that it'll never stop. I mean, it's all, the transfer portal is part of our life for eternity. And NIL, I think, has a small impact on it, but not at our place. These kids aren't leaving due to money issues. They don't know. Most of them aren't going somewhere else to get paid significantly more than what they're getting at the University of Wyoming. And we are one of the few schools. We're going to implement Alston scholarship next year. And that's not a common practice in the group of five. So this isn't always a money issue.
Any other questions for Tom or Eric? If not, we're going to welcome Andrew Peasley, our quarterback. Andrew's identified there as Cowboy football. So I'll let Andrew unmute and then
Tim,
yes.
Can I just say to Andrew, because I'm going to exit here if I'm done, but I want to congratulate him on a great year and thank him for his leadership. He's been a great leader in our program since he arrived, and we are thrilled he's a Cowboy. So just say congratulations, you're playing in a bowl game, and let's go win it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for Andrew. Cody?
Hey, Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, I know we're not talking about Titus Wynn per se, but I'd like to know, as a team leader, how did you guys take the news? How did the players take the news? I mean, this is a 1,000-yard back, a guy who just cracked the top 10 in school history.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Titus was one of the best players on our team. You know, he made his decision. You know, me, I'm a transfer. I had to do the same thing, leaving a school. So I think for young players like that, like, you got to find the opportunity that you want. So
Ryan?
Andrew, just curious, you know, maybe you haven't thought about it a lot, but who are some of the young players that running back, receiver, even cornerback that you have a chance here to play in a bowl game that maybe, you know, we're more role players before these transfers?
yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunity opening up, obviously, with all these players leaving. I think Joey's going to have to take a step this coming practices and I think Colby will be good at corner. He's just doesn't have a lot of experience, but I think he'll be just fine out there. Yeah, a lot of young guys are going to get more reps, and it'll be fun to watch. So,
Alex?
Yeah, Andrew, I know we talked before, and you just touched on it a little bit. So, but how grateful are you for the opportunity to have this bowl game where some of these younger guys have the opportunity to get such some important reps in during like a big playoff game like that?
yeah, I think all year it's been a up and down year. Obviously, we've been grinding and trying to get as many wins as possible. So when you get bowl eligible, it's a reward. And I think our team knows that. I think we're excited to go out and compete. I think it's going to be a really fun bowl game with Barstool being there. Obviously, a lot of younger athletes follow Barstool, so I think that'll be familiar and it'll be a good time.
Cody?
Andrew, if say your old man was to call you and just say, what are your thoughts on the season? What would you say?
I think that it was positive. If you look back to before we even started playing, there was a lot of people who didn't think we were going to be very good because there's not a lot of experience. We're a young team. And then you go to the Illinois game, obviously didn't go well. And then to end up 7-5 is really good, in my opinion. It's hard to win in college football. And so I've been a part of teams that have been really bad and really good. So it takes a lot of a team effort to get 7 wins.
Ryan?
Andrew, I think the portal's still a shock to the system for most fan bases, including Wyoming's. As a guy who used the portal to get the opportunity you have now at Wyoming, can you just explain the player's perspective on it? I'm sure you probably wish Josh Cobbs was going to be playing with you on the 30th, but at the same time, you probably understand maybe what he's thinking. Just can you explain the player perspective to this new era of football?
Yeah, for me, I spent 4 years at Utah State, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted to, and I needed a different opportunity. So I came here as a grad transfer, and I was lucky enough to find one. I don't know if the transfer portal is going to ruin college football or make it better, but I think it's hard for players to find a perfect spot, in my opinion. So I hope the best for all of them. I think that they're all great players, and I think they will find good spots. But yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, Andrew. So you had mentioned you're excited to be a part of a Barstool bowl game. So so you're obviously in the younger generation. So is it how exciting is it to have that opportunity to play in a bowl game with guys like Big Cat and all those Barstool guys there? I mean, what's that kind of like for you?
Yeah, I think it'll be funny. I think there'll be a lot of good content posted with the players, and the past bowl games I've been to, we've had like competitions with the other team before the game. So I'm kind of interested to see like the events we get to do. I think it'll be a good time. I think everyone will enjoy it a lot.
Michael?
Hey there, Andrew. You're one of the few upperclassmen on this entire roster. I think it was 18. I don't know what the updated numbers are now with the guys leaving in the portal and so forth, but what was it like this year just having that massive amount of underclassmen and guys who had to play in order for you guys to, field a competitive squad?
For me, I think it was an opportunity to get better at being a leader and, bringing the guys along with me. I think, like I said before, we had a lot of ups and downs, and, you can't stay up too much and you can't stay down. So you got to find that in between. And those younger guys they're going to experience a lot of life lessons through a 7-5 season, because it's not perfect, but, it wasn't the worst thing in the world either.
Alex? Alex, did you have another question?
Yeah, sorry. So Andrew, we talked I think after that Fresno game, but just kind of going back to for you personally, I mean, how much of an opportunity is this for you to kind of end end the season on a high note after that 30-0 loss to Fresno State?
I'm definitely glad I get another opportunity to compete after that performance in Fresno. I'll be honest. I think that the defeat against Boise really took the life out of us, and I didn't think we had enough pride going into the Fresno game as a Wyoming Cowboy. And I think that the team will come together just kind of with these next 3 weeks and get to see our families for Christmas, and then we get to go play in a bowl game. So I'm excited.
Cody?
Andrew, what is it like in the locker room now that seeing guys leave and seeing impactful guys leave? What is the mood like? Is it depressing like it is for so many fans right now?
No, it's not actually. We just had lifts in there. Everyone was, dapping each other up, giving hugs, wishing each other the best. I got to talk to a few guys, and yeah, it's all love. It's not, you leave, we don't like you anymore. It's not like that. So they got to find their best opportunity and what they think's best for them and move from there.
Tracy?
Just curious from the standpoint of given your status and your situation, how do you wind up choosing Wyoming as a school you're transferring to?
I think you got to look at the culture of the team, the culture of the community, and the culture of the state. Really, I think there's a lot of support. You're coming from a Utah school. There's obviously BYU, Utah, Weber State. So I never felt that when I was at Utah State. And when I first arrived here, it was a big change, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. So.
Did you have considerations of other places and you chose Wyoming over it, or was Wyoming just the focus from the start?
There was other options in there. Wyoming came out on top. So.
Care to mention any of them?
No, thank you.
Okay.
No comment.
Thank you.
Ryan?
Andrew, have you had a chance to talk to Joey? I mean, he's basically RB1 now with the injuries and Titus gone. And what have you seen from him that maybe he can be that next guy?
I think he has a lot of talent. Obviously, he hasn't played a lot, but I know he's excited. He's excited for his opportunity just to get out on the field and show what he can do. He's a big back, and he's actually really fast, runs the ball really well. So, yeah, it'll be fun to see him go into the bowl game and show people what he can do.
Cody?
Andrew, what about the guys behind Joey? Jordan Vaughn and I believe LJ Richardson, guys like that. We haven't got to see them. What are they like?
They're all good. They're all learning. Jordan, obviously another big back, big body that can really take a next step in these next few weeks to show what he can also do. LJ, young guy, he'll be getting some reps, and I'm excited for that. And then I think Dalton Strauss will also be getting reps for running back. And, I'm just excited to have them right next to me. I always talk to the backs in the games. You probably can't see that, but no, it'll be fun to compete with them and go get a W.
Any other questions for Andrew?
Andrew, David Kelly at KVOA here in Tucson. Have you ever been to Tucson? Any experience with the state of Arizona at all?
I've only visited Scottsdale a couple of years ago with my mom. Got to go down to Old Town Scottsdale, but that's really it in Arizona. I used to go as a young kid to Scottsdale also, but I don't really remember it very much. So I'm excited to, kind of see Tucson and experience their culture and see what it's like.
Is that a family thing? Is that a family thing in Scottsdale? You have family there, or?
I don't have any family there. My great grandma used to travel down. We used to make a trip. I was really young. I remember golfing with her sometimes, but that's really about it. So.
Any other questions for Andrew? Well, guys, if that's it, we'll wrap up this Zoom call.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody, for being on.
Thank you.